Hello all, welcome to DevOps Techie channel. In this channel, we are posting the videos or content related to DevOps who are currently working in the DevOps role but not able to cover all the tools related to DevOps, are the persons who are working in support projects and have thrived to change their domain to DevOps. So in this channel till now we covered Git, Docker, shell script, scenario based questions as well, along with the background history and origin of each and every tool. So till now we posted 13 videos related to these topics. So as discussed in the last video, we covered the basic interview questions of Docker, how we need to tell in a technical terminology in the interview to differentiate ourselves from the other persons. Even though everyone know the answer, but why you are not selected in the interview? It's by comparison of technical terminology while we are explaining. So yes, part of that, as I committed in last video about, I will come up with the next interview based questions which we can expect in our interview. That the most important instructions in Docker file about CMD and entry point. As we are aware, we can get image from Docker file only. By building Docker file, we will get image, and by running this Docker image, we will get container. As everyone know this basic concept, hope you all know. So in Docker file, we have couple of instructions. From is there, copy is there, add is there, run is there, CMD is there, entry point instruction is there. I'm just recalling all the things with you guys. We already covered these instructions in our earlier videos of Docker, and I created one playlist as well for individual tools. So maintainer is there, user is there. So like this we have couple of instructions in our Docker file. So in those Docker files, today we will discuss about comparisons of CMD and entry point instructions. Similarity, is there any similarity? Is there any comparison? If there is any comparison, means not only in words, in with respect to basic Docker file, we will compare in our video today. So CMD and entry point, right? So when we will use CMD, when we will use this entry point. CMD at the time of container start time, these instruction will be executed in the Docker file. When at the time of container start time. And when we can use this, when the Docker file will execute this entry point, this is also at the time of container start time only. Both have similar thing in, is like both will execute in the Docker file at the time of container start time only. But what is the comparison here? That we need to understand. CMD, if there are couple of CMD instructions in Docker file, then is it override or not? This scenario we need to analyze. So we can have multiple CMD's instructions also in Docker file. When it will take only last CMD instruction only. It will take only last CMD instructions. If there are couple of entry points there, then it will not override. It means it will not override, guys. CMD we can override, means if there are 4 to 5 CMD instructions there, while you are running, while you are executing the command docker run, if you pass any instructions argument at the runtime, then it will take only last, it will be override, means it will take only the last CMD only. So this is about the basic difference, guys. The similarity is like both the instructions will execute at the time of container start time only. Here second point is like only last CMD will execute it. If there are couple of CMD instructions in Docker file, then only the last CMD instruction will execute, we will get. So if you want to override, if suppose at the Docker file creation you have some instruction like in CMD you passed XYZ, but if you want to override that XYZ as ABC, that you can override by using this CMD instruction. But coming to this entry point, at the time of container start time only this entry point instruction also execute in the Docker file. But if you write like Sirisha in the entry point as argument, that will we can't override. But here you can append in one case. When that one case will come, we can discuss in a while. So final thing is like CMD can override, entry point will not override, but we can append the couple of entry point instructions in one special scenario. But in real time we can't use this scenario, but you need to be aware on this similarities and comparisons part that I want to highlight here. So we will write some basic Docker file to understand more on this part. First I will discuss about entry point. First thing is like it will not override. This thing we can discuss here. So first I am writing from a sample Docker file Ubuntu latest. If I write like this and I have run something is there, apt-get update or apt-get install. I'm just writing one instruction with run as well. Or else you can ignore, because now our ultimate theme is about entry point, right? So here I will write entry point echo first. Here I am writing the first instruction in Docker file about entry point. So this is the first instruction. So I will write second instruction as well. Okay, it will not allowing me to copy. Okay, then I will write, no problem. Echo second instruction I written, and third instruction also I will write echo third. So guess what is the expected output, guys? Here what is the expected output? It will not override, right? So in this scenario I want to highlight, if there are couple of entry point instructions in one Docker file, then the expected output is the last one. If there are couple of entry point instructions in Docker file without a CMD instruction, note down here, guys, without CMD instructions I written just one sample basic Docker file with couple of entry point instruction, then output is like last instruction only. Here point is like last instruction only without the CMD. I am mentioning, I am here my Docker file is it without any CMD commands, right? This is the expected output. We can re-verify our expected output by using Chatgpt also, post explaining each and scenario of entry point. We'll verify this output is correct or not by ChatGPT within this video itself, guys. So this is one scenario. If you pass any argument during runtime, then entry point instruction will append. This is second scenario, guys. If you pass any arguments during runtime, then entry point will append. This is also scenario like without CMD, without CMD instruction only. This scenario also I am explaining. Is it allow copy paste? We'll check once again. No. To allow, okay. Yeah, allowing. So here I written couple of entry point instructions only. We'll see. I will docker run for suppose image name. I am writing my image and I am passing here as 4. Understood, right, guys? This scenario, there are couple of entry point instructions only, but during the runtime, why container creating time, container start time, you can guys can assume I am passing to my uh, argument as like 4. Then in this scenario, what will be the output, expected output? What will be the expected output in this case? Like it will append all the things, right? Expected output is like first, second, third, fourth. This is our expected output. Here also I can give docker run and image name I'm giving like my image only. This is about the second scenario. Without CMD only we are expecting this thing. Hope you guys understood this one. So finally the thing about entry point is ultimately entry point will not override. This is right? We understood the concept of entry point and we discussed the scenarios of entry point as well, right? So I will execute in front of you guys only by using ChatGPT what we can expect. So I'm going to ChatGPT here and I'm pasting the sample Docker file which we written in front of you guys only. Here I'm using docker run and I'm giving image name as docker run my image. What is the exact output of this docker file? I'm asking to ChatGPT to verify my output. Here what is the expected output we are expecting in our docker file? Entry point, if there are couple of entry points, the output might we are expecting like the only last entry point instruction what it is passing as argument, that we are expecting here. Third we are expecting for this docker file from our conceptual understanding. So we will ask the chat gpt to verify our exact output is correct or not. Okay guys, syntax issues means so it's ignored. Just we are here trying to catch up with the concept and our understanding with the expected output. See here, this is our basic docker file. So when you run this command in the docker, then it will give internally third only. This is our exact output. Even we are also expecting the same thing, right? So our understanding, our expected output is perfect only by using the ChatGPT. Also now we verified. If there are couple of entry point instructions without a CMD, then only the last instruction will execute as the output. So now we will give one more docker file as well. We are giving in this scenario what is our expected output. If we pass any arguments during runtime, then entry point will append all the instructions, but it not override. That is our ultimate thing. How it will append means if there are no CMD instructions here. So I will write here the same thing only. Docker run my image. Then it will give spelling mistakes also. Okay. What is the exact output of this Docker file? Of this new Docker file. Why I'm giving new Docker file means earlier also we given one Docker file, right? Now, so I don't want to confuse the Chatgpt also with my Docker file. So what is the expected output for this Docker file? We are expecting the entry point needs to append all the instructions, right? So here I am writing. See, first, second, third, fourth, it needs to give. I will take another Chatgpt. Seems it's confusing. What is the output of this Docker file? Here it will showing like third only, right? Okay, our expected output is from this first, second, third, fourth, we are expected, right? But here one scenario like if we have only one instruction, third instruction is there, and during the runtime you passed 4, then it will append, right? But if there are couple of instructions of entry point as from first scenario, then it will take last entry point only and it will append the 4. Hope you guys understand. Here in this case of Docker file, there are two scenarios. If there are couple of entry point instructions, then it will take only the last instruction and it will only append this argument 4 if you run that image with the argument. So from this Docker file, it will take only the last instruction, which is we discussed at the first scenario. If during the runtime, if we pass that argument, then it will give third 4. Here we will write another scenario as well. Like here expected output, this one only. But if you guys, so here like 3 combinations. If only there are entry point, couple of entry point, only the third instruction will execute. But if there is one entry point and we are passing another argument during the runtime, then those instructions will append. Here concept is like third 4 is appending. That is the expected output here. That is the expected output here. So from here entry point will not overwrite. So here I will write one more Docker file as well. I don't want to confuse you guys. From again I'm taking Ubuntu latest. Here I am taking entry point echo Sirisha. So again I am taking entry point Jajam. Again I am taking entry point software engineer. Here now I am passing docker run Docker run my image working on software engineer working on DevOps in one MNC. So what is the expected output here? You can get, I will write this one also caps, working on DevOps in one MNC. Here what is the expected output you can guys can get? We have couple of entry point instructions here, so it will take only the last instruction. Okay, I will write only the last instruction, and from during the runtime I passed one argument, right, working on DevOps engineers. So it will also append to the last entry point instruction because there are no CMD point instruction, right? So I will ask ChatGPT to give me the exact output what it is expecting. I'm taking new ChatGPT file only because I'm giving couple of Docker files, so I don't want to confuse the ChatGPT as well. What is the expect output for this Docker file? Expected output what guys? We are expecting software engineer working on DevOps in one MNC. See here, exact output Docker will execute software engineer working on DevOps in one MNC. So if I want to, I am not giving this Docker run my image. I'm just pausing this. What is the expected output? Expected output here means only software engineer will execute. Why? There are couple of entry point instructions without CMD. All these things we are explaining. See. What is this? Entry point will execute only software engineer. Hope you guys understand, right? So this is about entry point. However, the total concept is like entry point will not override. This is about entry point guys. So in this video itself it's lagging. So I will just explain about CMD as well in another video. Hope you guys are subscribed. You will be notified while I uploaded the new video in my channel. Thank you everyone.